that you're curious, I know that you're strong. But life can be furious and things can go wrong. You go, we're better off tomorrow. But who knows if we get joy or sorrow.
Hi everyone, welcome to Shaman Man. I'm Nancy.
And I'm David.
And today we're going to talk about empaths and the power of touch, which is a really multi-layered kind of conversation, because in that power of touch there can be negative touch and there can be positive touch. So the power it can have over you as an empath can be very different in the experience based on context and who it is and how you're feeling and all of those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to go a little deeper on that, or you want me to?
No, we can. So really there's two kinds, right? There's wanted touch,
Right.
wanted/needed, and then there's unwanted, unneeded touch, and what is appropriate timing for which. So let's talk about times with empaths that's tough on touch. So let's say there's a morning, let's say there's a traditional time period, right? Like when most people would want to come and say, oh, so sorry, right? And give you the... Right?
Maybe a time of grieving,
Yeah.
or
That's an example.
a tough time at work, something's going on, major change going on, and people are like, oh, let me give you a hug, and you're like, yeah, don't touch me.
Okay, so for that, there's times where it's important for you to realize that, as an empath, you're constantly cleaning the area you're around. And based on your consciousness, based on your vibe, based on what you attract, a whole series of stuff, you hold a particular space. And within that space, other things coexist with you. You're like a node, right? So you're already feeling stuff already. So if there's something negative and somebody says, oh, let me give you some love in this way.
It compounds that feeling.
Yeah, right?
The energy you're taking on is magnified or amplified, and so you don't necessarily want to be touched. And this is very difficult, because if you're feeling all that and it's a situation where normally someone would want to be touched, somebody who doesn't have gifts, people can get offended very easily, because I've seen this with my kids and people I care about that have gifts, and they don't want to be touched, and they say, please don't touch me right now, I just don't want to be touched. And that person gets offended, like, well, I thought we were close, I thought you felt close to me, why don't you want me to touch you? And so it's about communicating. It's not you, I care about you, or I like you, I appreciate you, but I don't want to be touched.
Go to Wendy, bear with us.
Yeah, we don't want the camera to...
I just saw what happened, and I was not
camera
digging that.
It's a very windy spring day here in New
Okay,
Mexico.
we'll try that again.
It's beautiful. So
You see me launch myself.
Right, because the camera's going over.
Show my superpower.
Yeah. So anyway, it's
So back to what you're saying. I didn't mean to
Right.
interrupt. The concept here of touch has twofold meaning. A lot of times, you need, we need to feel that. So what Nance does for me is a lot of times she'll just touch my lower back or something.
and he'll ask me. He'll say, "Could you just put your hand on my back?"
And that's it.
And I'll just put my hand, or I might just gently touch his body. It just depends. My daughter does one of those things too, where she says, "Just sit, put your knees on my knees," because it helps me to even out my energy. If she wants to talk about stuff, so we'll sit knee to knee. And so if you're in a relationship with an empath, it's really great to be open and share with them. You can communicate with me what you need.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me to touch you, tell me. And if you don't need me to touch you, it's okay. And I'm not going to be offended, because I know it's not about me right now. It's about what you need. So there's this
without that sounding like
selfish. It's not selfish
it's like,
at all. It's communication.
I need this.
Right.
Here's my ailment. I'm an empath.
Right.
That's the BS.
That creates intimacy, though, in the sharing of how you feel and saying,
yes,
I really just can't be touched right now. I hope you understand.
Yes. Absolutely. And here's the kicker too. You can't feel guilty for that. So no, you might have presented it in a more tactful manner. Yes, you can work on that. Or in a softer way. I would call it soft hard, in a softer
I'll
way.
just interject one thing. Sometimes it's hard to communicate that because you don't know it's coming. So someone goes to touch you and you go,
You're like, oh.
and you kind of do this and they're like, what? And you're like, oh, and then you got to kind of step back a minute and communicate. So it's kind of hard when you're feeling all this stuff because someone just kind of grabs onto you and you're like, no, don't touch me.
So you can't feel guilty for who and what you are. It's a power, right? It's a gift. Look, there are times when I'm social. There are times when I want to be social. I can walk in, just because I'm an empath or I feel stuff and I'd rather not be around people most of the time, doesn't mean I'm incapable of walking into a room and not being in a social mode and kind of, Nancy jokes and calls me Mr. Tambourine Man because, we'll go to somewhere like a bar or something and nobody's dancing with the band, and then I'll grab their tambourine and I get everybody up because I can't sing and I can't play anything or dance, but then I can get everybody else moving. In other words, that helps me. That's fun. That to help change a room like that is a way in a positive direction without manipulating others, but just me working on myself and bringing myself up. I bring the whole room up. And the band helps, I'm sure, but I'm not taking 100% credit, just 94.5% credit maybe. But with good music, it does help.
Yeah,
it's like a little theme song, yeah. But I want to say that this personal touch thing is not really talked about a lot. This is beyond sex. Sex becomes a whole nother.
That's another video. Gig
as an empath, right? And the intimacy and the connection that you have there and what can result from what you suck up all of there.
Because that can be good and bad too.
Yeah. So this isn't about I have a need, or whatever. This isn't, that's not what this is. This is about, hey, when is it appropriate or when is it okay for you to feel? This is really what it's about, not the world, but for you. When it's appropriate to want to be touched or not to be touched and what kind of touch that represents. Now look, I didn't know what I needed until Nance put her hand on my back, so I couldn't have articulated to her, "Hey, would you put your hand?"
This and then try that.
So I'm not, it just this stuff happens, but we're trying to give you ideas to say, "Hey, maybe I wouldn't have thought of that, and maybe that would help me, and that would be nice for my partner too." And that's a real intimate moment, if you think about it, when we're not really talking and she just has her hand on my back. Think about that. That's really a really nice intimate moment, what I mean? It's a special thing, and it's almost better than holding hands in some ways because it's just soft and just kind of there, you know what I mean? Like there's no it's just nice. So try different things, but my main thing here is for you is to know that you may not recognize some of these things that tweak you or some of these things that happen. So these are ideas, but also be okay with trying things, saying, hey, in the past I normally would have been hugged, I'm going to try not to do that this time, or I am going to try to do that this time. Try a couple of different things.
And be okay with who you are.
Yes.
And just, know what feels good to you and own what feels good to you. And if you don't like something, then you have the right to say, I don't want that, and not just take it because you don't want to address it.
Or you feel like it's going to be offensive or somebody else may not understand.
Maybe it's just as simple as taking a step back. Like someone touches you and you just kind of take a step back. It's like, thank you for that, and then just, because a lot of times people don't know you have gifts and you don't want to address that whole issue of, I've got gifts and I can't have you touching me. And, so you learn different techniques of, stepping back or not putting yourself in that person's personal space to give them the opportunity to touch you in that way, those kinds of things. So really it's about, recognizing good touch versus uncomfortable or painful touch, and how you can enjoy having someone touch you in the right way and what that means to you.
And how it doesn't become a drain on you. It actually helps to alleviate. And you're not like putting your stuff on, I'm not trying to
I'm not sucking the stuff out of you.
Yeah, it's just
use my energy to make you feel at ease.
Or better yet, like another way to say, how we talked about like if you're a 7 and you want to try to stay a 7. So what Nance and I are conscious of during the week is like we say, okay, I want to be a 7 out of a 10, right? And so as Nance starts to go below a 7, which is rare, then I can step in sometimes.
That.
And then, if I'm circling the drain or something, Nance can say, hey, wait a minute, time out. Remember, get your
Lift
power
yourself
back.
up. Yeah.
This is stupid, and then we're able to work together that way. So you can too. It doesn't have to shoulder you, and of course you have help from Source and Spirit, but just know that if you fully embrace it, if you fully embrace what you are and try to understand yourself in the process of trying to understand your gifts in a real way,
and recognizing patterns.
Yeah, it'll all get so much better.
Huge.
It all gets it really is a gift. It can change so many things for you when you change that perspective.
And you understand it.
Yeah, and the touching part and the that's you kind of having your space. So remember, if you keep your being yourself, everything around you also has to meet you. So it's not your job to go around and say, well, this sucks and that sucks and I don't want to be here and that's an energy vampire and all these terms and new age, labels for everything. None of that matters, dude. You've got to hold yourself up, and in holding yourself up, you will shine, and then you will illuminate those things around you. And that'll be great people and great opportunity. And you'll be able to experience that in so many cool ways. And touching is part of that. And the right kind of touch. And again, you know, I could go on and on, right? Like this could be.
He's feeling it, y'all. He's feeling it.
So, thank you.
But life can be furious and things can go wrong. You go, we're better off tomorrow, but